Hi, I'm Dr. Siddhartha Nithan. Welcome to SportsMed Doctor. Hope all of you are doing very well. So today I thought that I'll do a little bit different video. I'll be speaking about the new sporting events which has been introduced into the Tokyo Olympics 2021. So let's get started with number one, karate. So karate started, it originated in Japan and it's making its debut for the first time in the Olympics. Now the sad part is that it won't be continued in the Paris 2024 Olympics. So unfortunately this will be only a one-time event. Now this has two disciplines, the kata and the kumite. The kata is basically a discipline in which you do different movements, basically offensive, defensive, balance-based movements, and the technique is judged. While the kumite is basically head-to-head sparring, and the first one to win up to 8 points is declared the winner. Now coming to the sporting event number 2, surfing. So surfing is also a new event which has been introduced in Japan in Tokyo Olympics. It's been continued for the for the Paris Olympics 2024. Now the interesting fact here is that for the Paris Olympics, the surfing event is going to take part in Tahiti, which is French Polynesia. So the main event will be in France, Paris, while the surfing event will take part in Tahiti actually. So that's something different and interesting which is going to happen. Now surfing, basically they'll be using something called a short board, which will help in increase maneuverability, and each athlete will be judged on each wave movement. So basically they'll be judged on their power, their flow, their technique, the maneuverability, etc. And that's how they are going to be scored. Now the one interesting fact about surfing is that this event is very flexible. That means there is no specific fixed timing for this event. So you will hear it might be postponed the next day if the weather is bad, or if it is really not very windy enough, it might be preponed or postponed accordingly, so based on the climate. So that's something interesting about this event. Now coming to the sporting event number 3, skateboarding. So skateboarding has been also introduced. It's making its debut this year, and it's going to be continued also for the 2024 Paris Olympics. Now it has got two disciplines basically. So you have got the park and you have got the street. So the park event is basically you have got a dome shaped venue where they do different tricks, and they are judged based on their uniqueness and their the skill, the difficulty of their technique, and that's how they are graded. While street is basically they use real life scenario events, such as they will have streets, you will have steps, you will have rails. All of those items will also be introduced into the ring, and the skateboarders will be using these props, you can say, to get more different techniques, and they will be judged based on that. Now one of the most interesting fact is for this Olympics there's going to be a 13-year-old boy. I think he just turned 13, called Sky Brown from UK, who will be taking part, and that's amazing. Only 13-year-old, and he's taking part in his first Olympics already. So now coming to the 4th event, which is sport climbing. So sport climbing had a little bit controversy when it was introduced. So basically they have 3 disciplines. So you have the speed climbing, you have the bouldering, and you have the lead climbing. Now usually in World Championship these disciplines are different, but in the Olympics they have clumped up together, and they have made it into a single event. So that means the athlete has to take part in all the 3 events, and those who get the least score gets the gold medal. So this has created a lot of controversy. It's something like saying a cricketer who has to play both T20 and Test. He may be a specialist in T20 but not a specialist in Test. So something like that you can say. That's the most similar thing which I can think of right now. So coming to what is these 3 disciplines all about. So let's come to speed climbing. Speed climbing is basically there is a 15-meter high wall, and the person who climbs as fast as possible is speed climbing. It's as simple as that. Now coming to bouldering. So bouldering, there is no safety ropes. It's only 4 meters, and you have got 4 fixed routes, and you have to climb that 4 fixed routes within 4 minutes. So that is what is bouldering all about. And third is lead climbing. So lead climbing, you have similarly a 15-meter high wall, and you have to climb it as fast as and as high as possible, as quick as possible. Now if two athletes have got the same height, then it is based on the speed, as fast as possible you climb. Now what is the interesting fact about these events is that all the climbers will be isolated. That means they cannot see their opponent climb. Now this is something different because now they won't be able to see their competition, and this will not give an unfair advantage to those who climb later, because they can see what routes they climb and which is much more easier and difficult. So that is something which is there in sport climbing actually. Now coming to the fifth and the last event which has been added, baseball and softball. Now baseball and softball is basically two different sports, I agree, but unfortunately baseball is for men and softball is for women's only. They have graded as such, and hence we have clubbed it into one sport actually. And this event was there earlier during the Atlanta. It was introduced in Atlanta Olympics, that's 1996, but it got removed in 2008 for the Beijing Olympics. So it's making its reintroduction here, but unfortunately it won't be continuing as such because of the 2024 Olympics in Paris has discarded it. So it's only going to be a one-time event. Now a little bit difference about baseball and softball. Baseball, I think most of you have a general idea about what it is, but softball, the grounds are smaller, the balls are bigger and softer. The pitcher will always throw underarm. There is no mound as such, so it's all flat, and the bats which are used are also lighter a little bit and smaller comparatively. Now an interesting fact, there are only 6 countries which are going to take part in both the competitions. So I think that makes a reason why it is not going to continue in other Olympics. And one small tit fact is, I started my career as sports medicine doctor by being a team doctor, by being a sports medicine doctor for the whole softball event. So that's how I started my career. So I've got a little bit soft corner for softball. Hope you have enjoyed the video. These are the 5 events. There are other events also which has been introduced, such as you can say the BMX, the basketball 3x3. There are other such events also, but these have all been considered as an extension of other events such as basketball, while for BMX it's part of cycling, so it's been considered as an extension. So that's why these are 5 different sports which has been directly different, it has been introduced. So that's why I thought I'll bring this video to you. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you do enjoy the video, please do give a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and once again thank you for listening. See you till next time.